you is, who here is B2B? Raise your hand if you're a B2B company. B2C, I see B2C. Okay. Most of my examples will be B2C because that's what we are. We can talk about some B2B options at the end, but a lot of my examples are B2C. That's just because that's what Babylist is. How many of you have advertised for your current company or previously on Google, Facebook? Has anybody done anything with Pinterest? Not necessarily ads, but just, okay, cool. And who's used Pinterest before? Okay, most people. You've never raised Pinterest, or used Pinterest, raise your hand. Okay, cool, it's good to know. I'll explain. All right, so what I'm gonna go through is why Pinterest has helped us with explosive growth. I'm gonna talk about how Pinterest works, how you can help, how you can use it to grow, and then how you can set up your promoted pins so you have the lowest CPC and the lowest cost per acquisitions. I'm gonna call it CPA, some people call it CPI, but if I say CPA, I'm talking about cost per acquisition, cost per conversion. When I get excited, I talk fast. So if there's any questions you don't understand, please go ahead and stop me, and we should have time for questions at the end too. So let me start with this photo and why I picked it for the first slide. So images like this keep me up at night. Images of people on their computers, on their phone, late at night, not finding our website. I picture them on our competitor's website, having a horrible, horrible time and wishing that there was another answer. They never knew that a solution like ours would exist. How would they? For the last 2 years, what Babylist has done really well is when somebody is looking for us, they find us. If they search for the search terms that have to do with their site through Google, they will find us. But what if that person never even looks? That's what keeps me up at night, and that's what Pinterest has helped us do. Get to the people who don't even know something like us exists. A solution like ours is even possible. What Babylist is. So we help expecting families get the stuff that they need for a baby. Specifically, and what's cool is we help them get all that expensive stuff given to them for free by their friends and family at a baby shower. Who here has not been to a baby shower before? Mostly guys, that's understandable. So most people know baby showers, like a wedding shower, and you register for stuff, and Babylist is a wedding baby registry. What? Is she pregnant? Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. So we make up 10 to 15% of the registry market. Thank you to Pinterest. I'll show you the graph in a second. That's substantial because Babies R Us is maybe like 40 to 50% of the market. So we're noticeable. What do I do and how did Babylist start? So my job is growth. And this is our growth graph. These are a number of users, a number of registries created per month. That's what we focus on. We do have some churn because once you're done being pregnant, you don't need us anymore. Natalie is our founder and CEO. She just had her second baby, so she's on maternity leave. When she was pregnant with baby number 1, she was looking at somewhere to register and hated the options. She was a software developer on Amazon. Figured she'd code something up herself, thinking it would always just be a side project for her portfolio. Turns out that she launched it 2 weeks before her son was born, and turns out there was a lot of early traction, just through a little bit of PR from launch and a little bit of virality. Babylist had grown a substantial amount. Here's her, that's demo day batch 5 that she went through. And then, let's see where I come in. So that's me, a little bit later after Natalie. Again, and this is all just Natalie, the whole time, all by herself. So this is when I and a couple more developers came on. You can see that we have these peaks in January. January is a big month for us. Explain why to you after. When I came on, we started doing a lot better with content marketing, cross promos. These other spikes have to do with cross promos that we had done. So then here's January, this past January 2015. And what we were seeing is we see a big spike and then we kind of plateau at a new level. So we were hoping that 2015 we had a really big spike and we'd be at a new level at Babylist. Then we got into the Pinterest Promoted Pins program. There's a wait list. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but we got off the wait list and we were allowed to start doing promoted pins. We didn't know what was going to happen. that's what happened. Last month, we had, yeah, just leave it at that. One quick thing to say before I go any further is when we started Pinterest, we have been only using Pinterest CPC product. It's a cost per click. I think that's better for startups. They just released a CPM product. So if you're on Pinterest and you see ads from Target or Kohl's or Home Depot, those are probably going to be the CPM product as a startup, and we do not pay for those. Views don't matter to us, clicks do, and conversions do. So I'm going to spend most of my time on that, and we bid for keywords similar to Google, and I'll explain how all that works too. Okay, so for those of you who haven't used Pinterest, what does Pinterest do? Here's a couple things. So Pinterest started with the pin it button. That went around with you on the web, and when you saw something that was inspiring, you would pin that to your Pinterest profile. You had boards so you could organize all your different pins. And that was kind of the bread and butter for the first several years. That's how I first came to use Pinterest, when I was searching for something and I liked an article or an image, I'd pin it. Then, all these users are posting awesome content, so more and more, actually, and almost predominantly, people are going to Pinterest for inspiration itself. So I rarely use the browser button anymore. I mostly just go straight to Pinterest to do some of my searches. What I've noticed, I recently became a homeowner, and what I've been noticing is that I do more and more searches in Pinterest than Google than ever before. And I started thinking about why, and here is an example. This is me typing patio ideas in on my Pinterest app. This is me typing patio ideas in on Google. Why am I searching so much on Pinterest now for like home projects and DIY stuff? Visual. Yeah. This is a visual search engine. When I'm looking on Pinterest, it's showing me before and after pictures. It's showing me like long images that go through kind of some how-to steps. I went to a bridal shower and I wanted to be able to make flower crowns. Like, I'm not going to I want to see the flower crown I'm going to make. I want to see the step-by-step process. I'm going to go straight to Pinterest. So that's what that does. 6 reasons why Pinterest kicks ass. Number 1, a lot of people use it. 42% of women in the United States have Pinterest accounts. That is humongous. To put that in perspective, 39% of everybody in this country has once eaten cold pizza for breakfast. 13% of men are on Pinterest. I know that may seem small. That's actually their fastest growing demographic. And what's interesting is as Pinterest is expanding internationally, in other countries they're seeing more of a 50-50 split. So it may be that early adopters are women and that men are growing and here to stay in Pinterest. So something to consider. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Really fascinating. Pinterest is actually the 4th largest traffic referral in the world. First is Google, organic search. Second is people just typing the URL directly into their box. Third is Facebook, and 4th is Pinterest. Facebook beats Pinterest by about 4x. Pinterest is there, and it's beating Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn, you name it. Second reason why Pinterest is kicking ass, it's new and cheap. It is the Wild West right now. There are large swaths of land that you can take for practically no money, or less money. I'm not going to say no money. I want you to remember when Facebook first started doing some of their ads, when you could start promoting posts, when you could do videos, new carousel thing. But picture Facebook like 2008, 9, when ads were starting to become a possibility. Companies blew up because of Facebook, and those are definitely going up now because of Pinterest. So it's awesome, and it will at some point go away. And I'll talk about why Pinterest is still awesome, even when after this big wave. Yeah, that's all I want to say. A personal story. So I come home from work and we'll tell my partner, like, oh, maybe let's have another big day or big month. He says, man, this has been going on for a while. Like, how long is Pinterest going to be killing it for you? And part of it is that, at least for our competitors, and we're in a niche space, right? Nobody is bidding for the word baby. or baby registry. There are like entire industries where nobody is, with no competition. Wedding is a different story, but even then, you can, anyway, even then we'll talk about ways that you can still like be really competitive and not pay very much for possible conversions. I have spent a lot of time on Google Ads and Facebook ads. For Baby List, you don't announce that you're pregnant until a little bit later in the game, and so Facebook's never worked particularly well for us. And with Google, we're always outbid because the Babies R Us and Targets of the world can bid $2, $3, $4, $5 for anybody who searches the word baby registry. If they're not on Pinterest, then all of a sudden we're there. Okay. Number 3 reason why Pinterest kicks ass is that it's native. Can you tell me where the ad is here? Any guesses? Which one? This guy?
The white table.
Oh, you saw it. Okay. Yeah, so they're super native. It's hard to tell that they're ads. The other 2 screenshots I showed you of Pinterest actually had promoted pins in them too. They're so native. I was talking to a Babylist user last week, and she said, I asked her how did you find out about Babylist, and she said something like, well, I was on Pinterest and I saw something and just really talk about what we did well, and it was kind of like an ad, but it definitely wasn't an ad. It was definitely an ad. And which is awesome. That's exactly what we want here. So it's super native. Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is a better, this should be the promoted pin. I'll show you what our promoted pins look like in a little bit. I'll talk about why this is a better design. Yeah. You can't tell what's a pin and what's not unless you're looking at that. It's super native. And Pinterest is doing a really good job. I'll talk about that later too. But they're doing a really good job of being super relevant when I search things. Okay. Another 4th reason why Pinterest kicks ass. So I was on the Baby List Pinterest account, and I was searching for like patio ideas, home improvement projects to give you screenshots for this presentation. Then I go back to the Baby List home feed, and guess what ad I have on my home feed? This is from Lowe's. So I hadn't even searched, this is my home feed. So I had searched, I was done with my searches, I moved on. Baby List only usually pins baby products. But since I have searched for home improvement, Pinterest is remembering that's like interest on Facebook. I think interest on Pinterest is a little bit more interesting, but you're still targeting for folks who were searching something previously. Somebody here asked about somebody, can you target somebody who's been injured? That wouldn't make any sense on Pinterest, but if somebody who just got injured and on Pinterest, like typed in like cast decorating ideas, like bang, like show up in their home feed with whatever like content that you want an injured person to have, right? I think that's my point on that one. Google and Facebook do some tracking like that. I just think when you combine this like keyword following or like following somebody in those interests and you combine it with the native ads, the possibilities are awesome. 5th reason, I'm almost done with my reasons. 5th reason that Pinterest kicks ass is it's super actionable. Unlike Twitter and unlike Facebook, I'm not on those platforms to buy, or I'm on those programs to not buy, to get out of a consumer space. I do use Pinterest, and folks use Pinterest to plan, think of ideas, buy outfits. So this study and looked at somebody who bought from Pinterest versus somebody who bought something from Facebook. The Facebook user spent on average $40 and Pinterest spent on average $70. So buyable pins are coming by the end of this year, they say. So this means that you can buy something straight from the Pinterest browser rather than having to go to the other site and do a bookmark. This is really exciting and it's going to be a game changer. And 90% of people, pinners, already say they bought something as a result of Pinterest. So it's a game changer and it's kind of already been a game changer. So there's a way, there's a way to take advantage now. And my last reason for why Pinterest kicks ass is downstream conversions. So we could stop all of our ads and cease to exist as a company even tomorrow, and we would still get tons of traffic from Pinterest. Because in the last 30 days, we've been pinned to 50,000 people's boards. And when those people they're pinning us to remember us. Like, for my future baby shower, the thing that I want to do next month when I become pregnant, when I such and such. So these pins exist for infinity time, and you don't do that on Facebook. You could, like before I said, oh, well, when you share an ad on your Facebook wall. I don't do that, but you do this. You do take an ad, like it, want to save it, and that's saved to your board. You do not pay for any conversions or clicks that happen after the first view on Pinterest, too. So you see your click-through rate get better and better with time, and Pinterest shows you that what they call downstream clicks and downstream conversions, and you see your conversion rate get better and better with time, because these folks are like coming in months after you did 200 pins. Okay, so how Pinterest ads work. My first soiree, or like where I learned about CPC, was with Google Ads. I guess like 7, 8 years ago. And Pinterest works in a similar way. I'm going to describe how Pinterest works and how it's similar and not similar to Google Ads. So the first thing that happens is you decide how much you're going to bid for a keyword. An example could be that this is Babies R Us says that we can pay $2 for somebody who types in the word baby registry in Google. This is Babyless saying, we can only afford 75 cents. But then what Google does, and what Pinterest does, is something called quality score, and it's something of a handicap. Folks familiar with quality scores, give me hands up because I can explain less or more. I'll explain more. Okay. So there's this thing called quality score, and Google develops this algorithm that they do promote it, what you're going to pay times whatever equation it is, what the quality is, equals how you're going to rank when the search happens. So quality score is your relevance, how much the words in your actual ad match the keywords that you're bidding for, how many people click it, just the overall quality of that. We don't know exactly how they come up with it. Pinterest is doing the same thing, so they want to make sure it's in their best interest that you can't tell the difference between an ad and a non-ad in your feed, right? So Pinterest is doing the same thing. And then in Google, when somebody presses that search button, the bidding begins, you see those first 3 results. I can't remember the percentages, but the highest percentage of clicks, if you're going to click on an ad, are definitely in those top 3 to 5 spots. Then when you're reading, and then the likelihood that you go on to the second page is fairly low, right? So when I'm bidding against Babies R Us, even though our quality score is better, I might not be able to beat them out. Or maybe I do, but I'm on the second page. So I'm maybe not seen at all. And this bidding happens, I don't know what happens if you go on Google the second page. I don't know if they hold like another bid, but first page at least, there's one bid, I lose, I'm there, I'm not. What's interesting with Pinterest is this bidding happens every time you take your thumb and push it up on the screen to view more content. So while I may come up 10th in a search for baby registry, if I come in 10th for a search in Pinterest, I may actually still hold a chance that person keeps scrolling down to view that content. So I see you excited. It's very exciting. And that means that even if you weren't able to bid as much as your competitors, if somebody was really interested in that topic, you'd still get to them. How to make a nice pin. This will be pretty easy. Stay tall. The more real estate, the better. Right now, there's a certain point that you can get where they won't show the entire pin, it like cuts it off, and there's a little button that says see whole pin. But the bigger the better, which is more, the longer the better, you just have more real estate. Multi-product pins are usually better than an image of just one product. The rationale behind that is if I'm looking for sunglasses, I only have one option to like this sunglass. I have several to relate or want one of the pair of sunglasses here, right? So we've actually done a little bit of testing on this, and they listed it works. Multi-products have done photos of multiple images have done better for us. You'll see some examples in a second. Yeah, stay tall. Use lots of products. Long descriptions, same thing as using lots of real estate. Also, when you think about it, you're trying to get the highest quality clicks as possible. And if I'm kind of interested, but I don't know if I want to click yet, I'll read the description. So if you have a long description that tells me whether I'm going to like this or not, I may or may not click. And so the reason, I would say at startup stage, and for us, we try to be as transparent as possible because we don't want to pay for clicks that are shitty. So we explain as much as possible, and we're as transparent as possible to make sure we're not paying lots of moolah. Here's a funny one, show no face. Anybody know why? Exactly. So I'm looking for a dress for this wedding we're going to next month, and I look at this woman and I don't see me. I see a different woman. But when I see this woman, maybe that's me. Maybe I look that good in that dress. Oh, you guys, no, it's not. It's not badly photoshopped. It's a real thing. All right, so now that you know how to make a pretty pen, and you know why Pinterest kicks ass, we're gonna go through and we're gonna look at some Babylist pens, and you're gonna tell me which one you think did it better. A little battle royale. Ready? Number 1 or number 2 do you think did better? Just show of hands. Take a second. Remember what we talked about? I see 2s, 1s, 2s, 1s. I thought 2 was going to do better, and I was wrong. We're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about all this. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're all going to talk about why this all happens. Yeah, the face. Maybe that was that. I thought this was super fun and engaging. I love that picture. I thought it was super fun and engaging. I thought the text was good. This one seemed kind of boring to me. All right, here's, you have 3 options here. 1, 2, or 3. Multi-products with baby space and baby feet. 3, 2, 2 and 3s. I thought 2 and 3 would kill it. 1 killed it. I don't know why, but it got some traction and I couldn't stop it. Ow.
Maybe because the fact that the title is not like the top.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to talk about why these landslides happen. And then this is one really broke my heart. So this one I did when Pinterest was open. I was just trying to get it out. This one our designer did. 1 or 2. I kind of know the drill now, so. 2 killed it compared to 1. 1 only got 5 repins. So let me talk to you about why this happens. You cannot A/B test in Pinterest. I thought you could in the beginning. So what I did is I have these 2 pins up. I designed one a few days ago. Our designer redid another one. I served them both. I served to the same audience, same keywords. Wanted to see what happened. So this is what happens. This is why A/B testing doesn't work on Pinterest. So it's showing those 2 ads, and for whatever, showing it equally for a few hours, and for whatever reason, one of them gets clicked more. Maybe it's clicked by somebody who's being followed by a lot of people. Maybe somebody writes in. Who knows? We don't know. So for whatever reason, this one started doing better. The click rate was better. So Pinterest was giving it a higher quality score. And what that meant is it was showing up higher in the feed. And so what that meant is this ad was showing when you scroll down. So now it's really going to fail because it looks like duplicate content. Does that make sense? So this is why landslides happen. Here's how you can fix it. I love this meme. When there were several points when I was testing things where I was like, I'm following the Pinterest creative guidelines. I have no idea, why is this happening? I have no idea what I'm doing. So here's how you can test to figure out what images work best, given that you can't do kind of equal A/B testing like this. So you want to start by testing very different images, so that if they do show up in the same feed, folks don't see it as a duplicate ad. You want to stop what's losing, because your quality score, Pinterest is just, once it's got a lower quality score, it's just not going to show as high up. Question? Yeah. Yeah. So does Google. And actually, when you look at Google AdWords, they'll tell you your quality score for each ad. Pinterest, it won't, no, Pinterest won't tell you. It just, you can't set, so in Google, you have this option to check this box that says, show my ads equally for, I think it's 30 or 90 days. You can't do that on Pinterest. So it's optimizing for you, unfortunately. I wish that it didn't. I wish that I could say, I really do want to try this ad. I really do think that this one would work. Pinterest is saying, you know what, it's not getting clicked. People aren't liking it. I'm just going to stop showing it on my own. You could set up different campaigns, but you're gonna have to serve to different keywords. If they're in the same campaign or you're bidding for the same keywords, the two ads are gonna battle each other still. And then one's gonna do a little bit better, and then the other one's just not gonna serve, and the other one's gonna serve a lot. Is that called? Yeah, but quality score, it's something that everybody does and we don't have any transparency into. I think it has a lot to do with click-through rate and then relevance. So you're gonna stop what loses. You're gonna take what image, you're gonna stop the image that wasn't doing as well, and you're gonna try new text, or try a new image, or try that image with text that had worked previously, and you're gonna iterate to find the next favorite, and you're never going to stop. Here's why. You need to refresh, we found we need to refresh our Pinterest creative every 2 to 5 months. And it kind of works like Facebook frequency too. Once an image is kind of seen a bunch, we just notice that the traction or the click-throughs the click-through rate goes down and people are less engaged with it in general. I wish I had more insight into why exactly that was, but I think the thought is this: if you're going to the same people a bunch, and if I'm pregnant, I may be searching pregnancy stuff all the time, and I decided I don't want those ads, I don't like that image, but I'm trying to remember to see if I can get them. So you want to refresh your creative every 2 to 5 months, and so I'm always on Pinterest deciding what is the next big ad going to be. Yeah.
When you say you're refreshing the creative, even the popular ones, you're actually.
Yeah. That one of the baby in the bath that was looking straight, that like kind of weird looking baby that was looking straight at you. It was one of the most popular in the first. I couldn't stop it. It was a machine for 3-4 months, and it's finally the click-through rates weren't doing as well as the ones I put up. Yeah, and you can only pause in Pinterest. I don't know why I can pause. Yeah.
Does that mean that if I invent it on my board, it will go away?
No. Sorry, when you delete the. So here's a quick thing. When you are advertising on Pinterest, you have to pin the ad first. Then you go in and say, I want to give money so that pin shows up to lots of people. So that pin exists on your board and everybody else's board. You just deleted the promotion of that pin, or you paused it. Mm-hmm. Almost done, yeah. Okay.
Does how well it will depend on, you mentioned influencers sometimes. Right? Does it also depend on your own base of followers?
Give me 1 second, I'm gonna answer that question, yeah. So how to promote a pin or how to get started? The first step, one would think, would be to build your audience. It actually doesn't matter. You don't need to spend any time building a Pinterest audience. The one I can picture if I was getting an audience, I might ask, but Brittany, you can't, like if I have a big audience, maybe I can do a little bit of testing beforehand and figure out what my audience really likes. That helps us a little bit. I think we're at like 40K Pinterest followers. It hasn't gone up any with all the new stats actually. It just stays steady and it's fine. When I put up new pins, and I am like working on, I haven't promoted them yet, like I'm gonna promote them the next day, I don't get tons of data, so you really don't. Maybe it's good to have a new audience because they see your pin actually get pinned, but it's not something, at this stage, it's not something you spend any time on. Oh, so what you should do is step one instead is find your keywords. So I mentioned this works just like Google, where you're bidding for keywords, and what Pinterest says you should have 20 to 30 keywords that you bid for with a pin. So that's a lot. I can kind of explain, I think I understand why. Again, I don't have tons of insights, this is all just guesses from us using Pinterest. So we're bidding for the word baby registry, and I was noticing when I was just doing baby registry, I was barely spending any money, it was maybe like $20 a day. When I started adding baby registry ideas, what else was I adding? Baby stuff ideas, the 5 things that things you need for baby, newborn items. And then my pin started to reach a lot more folks because there's kind of more variations. What Pinterest also does is they take your keywords and kind of match them in groups. And so in Google, you bid for the very specific keyword if you don't show for anything else other than that keyword, if you've done it right. And on Pinterest, that's not the case. So there's just like one example with Google that if somebody's bidding for the word digital cam, like digital camera, then if they don't do it right, they would, so if you're, sorry, I'm trying to back up and explain this. So keywords are broad matched in Pinterest. So it means that if I'm bidding for the word digital camera, I may also be showing up for people who are searching for, let's see, like the example on Google is babe cam, which if you don't want to show for, and Pinterest, those kinds of, you are broad matched to terms, so think about that. And the reason they want you to add 20 to 30 keywords is because they want to make sure they've got it right. They want to make sure they know your sector and not showing it to folks outside of that, and you're showing to a bigger swath of people too. Makes sense. I explained that not super well. Okay, so step 2 is how you're going to track. Pinterest has conversion pixels you can put on your site. They can be multiple conversions. There can be leads, buying, memberships, whatever you want. You can set multiple. They don't have an SDK yet, so you can't track really well on mobile. If you're interested, we don't do it super well either. I have some ideas, and we're going to start trying so we can track mobile a little bit better. But you want to think about that. Step 3 is decide who. So for your audience, you can target men, women, unknown sex, which I do because they click really well. Device, language, and location. And the location is actually pretty good. I think it's by state and city in all countries. So we're just in the US and it's just English. That's how you can decide who you're going to serve your ad to. You can also do some segmenting. So you could decide that somebody in the US is worth more to you than somebody in, use the Brazil example, and so you can bid accordingly. So I do a bit of segmenting and kind of persona work. So somebody who's typing in the word pregnancy is different than somebody who's typing in the word baby shower. Baby shower can include somebody who's looking for a good baby shower gift. So I bid less for anybody who's typing in the word baby shower, and I bid more for somebody who's typing in the word pregnancy because I probably want them. They're converting better and they're buying more. And you do that by setting up different campaigns. And then you want to decide on the cash money, how much you want to spend per click. I would start low and then just increase from there and see how it's going. Compared to, I remember when I first tried Facebook ads, I ran around with my money, like I checked back in my scan and I had spent like $500 and I wanted to spend like $150. That didn't happen to me on Pinterest, especially if you start with fewer keywords and kind of incrementalize that up and start at lower bids and incrementalize up, no harm, no foul. The one thing that you will have to do is step 5, last time, is you're gonna have to wait for 24 hours to see your results. So if you want to get results really quickly, demo day is coming up, and you want to figure out the channel in 7 days, maybe bid a little bit more aggressively because it's going to take you 24 hours to see how those first ads did. Okay, that is all. I said that I thought Pinterest was like the Wild West. It's a lot of fun. There's not very good analytics. There's not very good resources on like how this works. There's not great tracking. Best practices are still being defined. And there's really good gains at really low cost. So it's a very exciting place to be. I think Pinterest is, I'm biased. I think Pinterest is one of the most interesting social platforms right now. Period. And so go have fun. You can go win some land in the Wild West of Pinterest. Questions?